Here are 100 plus things to do in and around Seoul. This is divided into touristy things, shopping, sports and leisure, family things, fun in your 20s, unique to Korea, and finally, museums. I will leave time codes to each section in the description below so you can find your area of interest more easily. Trust me when I say I have put a lot of work into this list, so please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more great content on Korea. Also, check out our Facebook group to help travelers find information or ask questions about Seoul. That's all in the descriptions below. Let's start with touristy things. The DMZ and the JSA, or Demilitarized Zone, and the Joint Security Area. This is the border of North and South Korea. You may have seen it in the movie JSA. You may have seen it when Donald Trump met Kim Jong-un at the border. Usually when tensions are high between North and South Korea, the JSA is closed. There are, however, DMZ tours that you can go to where you can see various tunnels and other locations where you can actually see into North Korea. Namsan Tower, 63 Building, and Lotte Tower. These are the three more prominent places that you can go to get an elevated view of Seoul. Up there, you'll be able to get nice pictures and a nice view. Best time to go is just before noon, so you can have good lighting for your photos. Gwangjang Plaza and Gyeongbokgung Palace. Gyeongbokgung is the most famous palace in Seoul, and then Gwangjang Plaza is just outside the palace. It's got the statue of General Lee as well as King Sejong. Very iconic place to take pictures and get a nice view. Now, at the palace, as well as Changdeokgung Palace and Deoksugung Palace, they're also not too far away. And what a lot of people will do is they'll rent hanboks, which is the traditional Korean attire. And you can walk around in hanboks at these palaces. Kind of makes for nicer photos. Korea's older traditional neighborhoods, Insa-dong, Iksan-dong, Bukchon Hanok Village, Samcheongdong, and the Blue House. This is also all in the downtown area. They're pretty much walkable to each other, and they all have kind of that old traditional Korean feel. There's a lot of stores there. Even the Iksan-dong Starbucks is kind of famous, as it's the only Starbucks that does not have Starbucks written in English because everything has to be in Korean in Insa-dong. Right next to Samcheongdong is the Blue House. This is the former residence of the Korean president. Up until the latest administration, all the former presidents actually stayed in the Blue House, and it is now open to the public for tours. Cheongye Stream is the stream that starts off in downtown and goes southeast. There is a nice walkway along the stream. There's a lot of stores, great scenery. It's a nice little walkway for a nice downtown stroll. Gwangjang Market is probably the most famous market when it comes to getting street food. It has been featured on Netflix, but because of that, there have also been stories in the newspaper of a lot of the vendors ripping off tourists. So be careful if you're in Gwangjang Market so that you're not getting ripped off, but it is a tourist hotspot. Namdaemun Market is one of the most famous markets in Korea, and they've got everything that you can imagine, including one of my favorite street foods called hotdog. Check out that video as well. Good. Also, Namdaemun Gate, the south gate of Seoul, is actually the national monument number 1 on the list. So check out the gate, also known as Sungnaemun. Dongdaemun is the textile capital of Korea, and the Dongdaemun Design Plaza as well as Dongdaemun Market have a lot to take in, both from a fashion standpoint, from a shopping standpoint, and even good food. Noryangjin Fish Market is an excellent place to go check out some cool and weird stuff. You might have heard of Koreans eating live octopus. Here's a great place to go check it out. They also have fish auctions there. It's a great place to get seafood like king crab or lobster or other things like raw fish. Korean street food. Myeongdong, Hongdae are a couple of examples, Gangnam Station as well, where you can get a good variety of cheap Korean food at these food stands. Anything from tteokbokki to chicken skewers to all sorts of different stuff. Yoido Cherry Blossom Festival. There's actually cherry blossom festivals everywhere, usually at the beginning of April, sometimes at the end of March, and Yoido is probably the most famous place to gather, but there are all sorts of different places to go and enjoy cherry blossoms in Korea, especially in early April. Myeongdong Cathedral and Yoido Full Gospel Church. Korea is one of the most religious countries in the world, and for Catholicism, the Myeongdong Cathedral is quite famous. And did you know that Korea also holds the largest congregation of Christians in the world at the Yoido Full Gospel Church? So religious people may want to visit those places. Also remember, Korea is a Buddhist country as well, so there's plenty of temples and Buddhist hotspots to check up as well. Hop on, hop off bus. These are famous around the world, and Seoul is no different. They have hop-on, hop-off buses where you pay a fee, you can get on the bus, and it'll take you to some of the more prominent tourist areas of Seoul. Banpo Bridge Fountain and the Floating Islands. The Banpo Bridge has a light and fountain show shooting out of the bridge at various points of the day and evening. And also right next to the bridge, there is 3 floating islands that were featured in the Avengers Age of Ultron. It can be a cool area to hang out, and also you can say, hey, I visited the place in the movie. Nami Island. Nami Island is about an hour east of Seoul. It's been featured in many famous Korean dramas, among them Winter Sonata that made it very famous, and it's a cool place to hang out for a day. Minsokchon. Minsokchon is the traditional Korean folk village about 45 minutes south of Seoul. It can be an interesting place to check out Korean culture and how Koreans might have lived 100 years ago. Shopping in and around Seoul. Outlet shopping can be found in Gimpo at the Hyundai department store outlets. In Paju, there's the Shinsegae outlet as well as the Lotte outlet. Yeoju has the biggest outlets. Both Lotte and Shinsegae are featured there. Cheongdo also has a Hyundai outlet in Seongdo, which is just in the southern part of Incheon. All of these are part of the Simon Outlet family, so you can find some good deals and famous brands at these locations. Duty-free shopping. The Lotte department store in Myeongdong has the largest duty-free section. The Sheila Hotel also has a very large duty-free area. If you're looking for good deals on very famous and expensive brands, those duty-free shops are the places to go. Cheongdam-dong. Cheongdam-dong is like the Beverly Hills Rodeo Drive of Seoul. It has all the expensive luxury boutique stores there. So if you are into big-time shopping, then Cheongdam-dong is the place to go. Shopping malls of Seoul. COEX is one of the more famous shopping malls in the Gangnam area. They have the very famous bookstore that I'm sure you've seen in pictures. There's Times Square Mall. There is IFC Mall, Lotte Mall, Shinsegae Department Store, the Hyundai, also in Yoido, and then Starfield Suwon I'll mention as well. It's a newer mall that has formed about 45 minutes south of Seoul, and they're famous as well for their bookstore or library, much like the COEX Mall. Costco and E-Mart traders. Yes, Korea has Costco. In fact, there are a ton of them. And of course, your membership from any other country works in Korea as well. There's some interesting items that you've probably never seen at your Costco if you're shopping at Korea for the first time. And the Korean version of Costco is E-Mart Traders. The good thing here is you don't need a membership to get in, so you can just shop there freely. And they've also got some interesting things, and you will notice some similarities to Costco at E-Mart Traders. Yongsan Electronics Shopping. If you're into electronics, Yongsan is the place to go. There's a couple of different buildings here that feature nothing but electronic goodies, from cameras to phones to computers to video game consoles, anything that has anything to do with electronics. If you're into that kind of stuff, go to Yongsan. Kintex is Korea's largest convention center. There's all sorts of shows there, like the auto show, electronic shows, camping shows, golf shows, whatever. There's tons of different conventions there. So if you're looking for a fun convention, take a look at the Kintex schedule, and they might have something interesting for you. If you're in Seoul in December or even November and you want to buy some Christmas decorations, go to Express Bus Terminal. At the bus terminal, there's one floor that sells nothing but flowers. But in November and December, they sell Christmas trees and decorations. So if you're looking for some interesting trinkets, go there as you can find some nice Christmas decorations at wholesale prices. Sports and leisure. There are many parks along the Han River in Seoul, and they all have plenty of restrooms, convenience stores, and even food stands and other things to keep you entertained. The more prominent parks along the Han River are in Yoido, Banpo, and Nanji, but there are plenty more. Han River cruises. There are plenty of cruise ships that go up and down the Han River, including cruise ships that have dinner shows and concerts. Fireworks show on the Han River. Seoul has an annual fireworks show along the Han River in the fall, and the best place to watch it is at the Icheon Han River Park. Swimming at the Han River Park. There are swimming pools at various locations of the Han River Park. They are very affordable and family-friendly. Camping or barbecuing at Nanji Park. There is a campground at the Nanji Park on the Han River, and you can also barbecue there as well. Whether you're staying overnight with a tent or if you're doing a day trip, you can barbecue at Nanji Park. Olympic Park. Many of the events of the 1988 Olympics were held at Olympic Park, so there are all sorts of different venues that host concerts, as well as nice grassy areas where you can picnic. KBO baseball games in Seoul. There are 10 KBO baseball teams, but 5 of them have their homes in and around Seoul, including Chamsil Stadium, which hosts LG and Doosan, Kochuk hosts Kium, Suwon hosts KT, and Incheon hosts SSG. Watching a baseball game is one of my top recommendations for people visiting Korea, so if you haven't done it yet, check out a KBO baseball game in Korea. Screen baseball. Maybe you're not satisfied just watching baseball. Well, you can go to screen baseball. It's like a batting cage, except you can actually see the pitcher in a windup, and some locations feature curveballs and off-speed pitches. You can also control the pitcher to throw off-speed pitches so you can compete against your friend. Screen golf. It's a great imitation of real golf, and you don't have to walk a full course or get sunburned. You can sit in the comfort of a room, enjoy a beverage, and play a round of golf. You can also play on many of the famous courses around the world and almost every course in Korea. The K-League is Korea's domestic soccer league, and you can catch games regularly at the World Cup Stadium in Seoul, Suwon, or Incheon. Korean water parks. It doesn't necessarily have to be summer to enjoy Caribbean Bay, Ocean World, One Mount, or Ungjin Playdoshi. But if it is summer, you will be able to enjoy a little bit more of the outdoor spaces that are featured at some of these famous Korean water parks. Free water parks. If you don't want to pay $30 to $50 to take your kids to one of these extravagant water parks, go to one of the many free water parks in the surrounding area around Seoul. You won't believe these are free when you consider how nice they are and the amenities they feature. They're usually in operation in July and August. K-pop concerts. How can we talk about leisure in Korea without talking about K-pop concerts? Concerts happen in Korea 365 days a year, but they usually do get busier in the fall and spring. Anything from K-pop groups and idols to rocks and rock festivals. Even electronic music festivals are huge in Korea. Busking. If you want to see a concert in Korea but you don't want to pay a lot of money, check out some of the buskers in Korea. There are many different locations that people love to busk, including Hongdae and Yoido. Daeangno for plays. Daeangno, just north of Seoul, is known as Korea's live performance center. There are many small little playhouses that you can go to watch people perform in plays and musicals. Seoul Arts Center. The Seoul Arts Center also has many concert and musicals, but another reason I wanted to mention it here is this is one of my favorite buildings to look at. The round shape of this is in the form of an old Korean traditional hat, but they've made it in a modern way. One of my favorite architectural locations in Seoul, and they also feature many concerts and performances. Magok Botanical Garden. The Magok Botanical Garden features an indoor area that has all sorts of different plants that you can find all around Korea. Bukchon Mountain. Bukchon Mountain is on the northern side of Seoul, as Buk actually means north, and when it comes to hiking or mountain climbing, this is one of the more famous mountains to go to. It's easily accessible and takes about 2 to 3 hours to get up, with another hour or so to get down. Indoor climbing. If you don't want to climb all the way to the top of a mountain, there are many indoor climbing facilities, especially fun for kids. Ice skating. There are many places to ice skate in the winter from December to January, but the most famous one is at City Hall, where it's very affordable. Casinos. If you want to gamble during your trip to Korea, there are many casinos in the Seoul and surrounding area. There's the 7 Luck underneath the Oakwood near COEX. There's Walker Hill Hotel. There's the Hilton Millennium Hotel. And also right next to the Incheon Airport, there are the Paradise City Hotel, the Hyatt Hotel, and the Mohegan, all featuring casinos. Horse racing. If you enjoy betting, horse racing's a lot of fun as well, and they have horse racing tracks in Gwacheon, which is just south of Seoul. The horse racing tracks in Gwacheon are a lot of fun on the weekends. They even have a VIP section for foreigners. Roller skating. There are many roller skating rinks around Seoul, but my favorite is at One Mount in Ilsan. They have 3 different rinks that you can skate in and also feature walkers for beginners. Family. Children's Grand Park and Zoo is easily the #1 thing you can do with your family. It's absolutely free. The kids can see the animals at the zoo, and there's even a small amusement park that doesn't break the bank. Lotte World, Seoul Land, and Everland. If you want to go to a bigger amusement park, or maybe for bigger kids even, then these are the places to go. Lotte World is the most easily accessible, but Seoul Land and Everland are much larger. Aquariums. There are aquariums located in COEX Mall, Lotte Tower, and the 63 building. Each are a little bit different, so it's okay to take your kids to all 3. Kids' pensions. A pension is like a vacation home rental, and kids' pensions, imagine a vacation home rental that is made for kids. Often they have swimming pools and jungle gyms and playgrounds even in the rooms, and usually have great facilities. Kids' cafes. Kids' cafes are loved by kids, usually from the ages of 3 to 8. They can go and run around and play all sorts of things, sort of like a Chuck E. Cheese without the video games. Paju Haley Village. Haley Village is in Paju, just north of Seoul. It has all sorts of little cafes and museums and is fun for the kids and whole family. The variety here is great. Petting farms. There are petting farms all over and around Seoul. Some can be just with cats and dogs, but others can include goats and sheep and birds and all sorts of other animals. Bug farms, insectariums. All kids go through a bug and insect phase, and there are plenty of bug farms and insectariums around Seoul. Strawberry picking. What kid doesn't like picking strawberries? Strawberry season in Korea is December, January, February, sometimes into March as well, and you can go to these greenhouses to pick strawberries. Video game arcades. If your kids are a little bit older, they would love these video game arcades in Korea. They have tons of the latest games. Toys R Us. Toys R Us may have shut down in America, but it's alive and well in Korea. These are some of the more popular places for kids to go shopping. Fun in your 20s. Hongdae Yeontrol Park. Hongdae is among the funnest places to spend in your 20s. It's a university district, so everything's cheap. There's all sorts of bars and clubs and pubs, and there's Yeontrol Park as well as the parking alley. If you want to go shopping, those places are fun, or even just a picnic in Yeontrol Park can be cheap, affordable, and relaxing. Yeontrol Park is also a great place to relax and just people watch. Gangnam Station. Oppa Gangnam Style was about all of Gangnam, but Gangnam Station is generally associated with the area. This is the busiest subway station in Korea, and for good reason, because everyone goes here, especially those in their 20s. Apgujeong Rodeo. The Apgujeong Rodeo area is where all the celebrities and rich people used to hang out for drinks and dinner. And then it all kind of died down for several years, but lately it's been making a comeback. This is where a lot of the rich and famous like to hang out. Garosukgil. When I said that the Apgujeong Rodeo area died down for a bit, well, that was the time that Garosukgil became really big, and it's still popular now despite going through a lot of gentrification. Itaewon nightlife. When it comes to clubs and bars and partying, the Itaewon area is definitely one of the most popular places to go. Right behind the Hamilton Hotel, there are plenty of clubs and night spots. Gangnam Nightclub Cheongdam Rivera Hotel. This is one of the biggest nightclubs in Seoul right now, but I will say, depending on when you watch this, Korea's nightclub scene changes very quickly, so what might be hot now might not be 6 months from now. It changes very quickly, so stay up to date and maybe check out the Instagram of the Gangnam nightclub before going. Noryangjin for late night partying. If you're still partying after 1 a.m., Noryangjin might be the place to go. It is the go-to after-hours place from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m., 6 a.m., maybe even 9 a.m. at times. Jongno 3rd Street. 3rd Street in Jongno is famous for becoming a street of tent bars. Tent bars are makeshift places to eat and drink for Koreans, and this is the most famous street that is filled with these places. Convenience store beers. Beers at convenience stores range from $2 to $3, or you can get 4 of them slightly discounted. A lot of convenience stores will have tables and chairs set up outside the store so you can get your pre-drink on for cheap. Karaoke. They're called noraebang in Korea, but it's where you go to sing. You can drink there, you can sing, you can dance. It's a lot of fun at any time of the day, usually in the wee hours of the night. K-pop dance class. There are dance studios all over Seoul. A lot of kids actually go to learn how to dance before auditioning to get into these major companies. Adults, kids, you can all learn how to dance like your favorite K-pop artist. Esports events. Korea is the epicenter of esports. Korea was the first country to broadcast major esports events on mainstream TV, and now it's become a beast of its own. Korea now has dedicated esports stadiums featuring a lot of the top pro gamers in the world. Escape rooms. Escape rooms went through its trend, but there still are plenty of escape rooms scattered all around Seoul. Go with your friends and have some fun. Board game cafes. There are many board game cafes all around Korea that feature many different board games, both Korean and foreign. Korean sex stores. That's right, Korea has sex stores too. And what better time to go than when you're traveling with friends? Don't worry, your parents will never know. Only in Korea. Temple stay. Korea originally was a Buddhist country, and there are many temples around Korea. There's also a feature called a temple stay where you can stay in a temple. KTX. Korea is one of the handful of countries around the world that feature rapid transit. Korea's KTX train travels at 300 kilometers per hour, and at that speed, telephone poles look like picket fences. Gwangjang Meat Market. The Gwangjang Meat Market is where many of Seoul's butchers are all located together. You can pick out the meat that you want to eat, buy it, and then take it to a restaurant upstairs that will only charge you to cook it, so you're getting wholesale meat prices at a bargain. Many argue that Korean Hanu is better than Wagyu or even Kobe beef. Check it out for yourself at bargain prices at the Gwangjang Meat Market. Plastic surgery. Let's face it, not all Koreans look as good as those in the dramas. That's because a lot of people get plastic surgery done in Korea. And now more than ever, travelers to Seoul and Korea are getting plastic surgery done as well. Cosmetic vacations are all the rage, and Korea is one of the capitals of it. Nanta Show. The Nanta Show is a fun percussion show featuring cooking as a theme. B-Boy Show. Korea is one of the best, if not the best countries in the world at B-Boy dancing, and there are all sorts of shows to check out. Tteokbokki Alley. Tteokbokki, or spicy Korean rice cakes, is one of Korea's most iconic foods, and there's an alley dedicated to only tteokbokki restaurants. Go check it out. Korean cooking classes. If you love Korean food, why not learn how to make it yourself? There are plenty of places where you can learn. Kakao Talk and Line stores. Kakao Talk is the messaging app everyone uses in Korea. It's like WhatsApp, except more prominent around the country because it's used for more than just messaging. Some people use it for shopping, sending gifts, all sorts of things. Line is also a messaging app in Korea. It's not as big as Kakao Talk in Korea, but it's actually bigger in other Asian countries like Japan and Southeast Asia. The emoticons used in Kakao Talk and Line are sold as dolls and stickers in these various stores, and they're very popular. Archery cafes. Did you know that Korea dominates the world in archery? Take a look at the Olympic archery medal standings since 1988. If Robin Hood were real, he would have been Korean. There are many archery cafes around Korea where you can go and shoot arrows at targets. They'll even teach you how to be a good archer. VR arcades. Korea is on the cutting edge of technology, and VR arcades are part of that trend. Go check one out. Cat cafes. If you're a cat person, going to a cat cafe is a must. Enjoy a cup of coffee with plenty of cats. Pet them, feed them while you're there. Fortune tellers. Many Koreans are superstitious, and that means fortune tellers thrive in Korea. You can find them anywhere, and some will tell you your fortunes even in English. Photo studios. Koreans love to take pictures. Maybe you do too. There are self-serve photo studios everywhere. CU Instant Ramen. Have you ever seen a ramen store like this? You can pick any kind of ramen you want and cook it yourself instantly. And it's affordable. Guinness Book Coffee Shop. Did you know that the world's largest coffee shop is in Korea? This coffee shop seats over 2,000 people and has all sorts of different themes for every different section. You pay a little bit more for each cup of coffee, but if you visit, you can now say you've been to the world's largest coffee shop. Digital Media City. This is where all of Korea's major television studios reside. It was also featured in the Avengers Age of Ultron. What a cool scene! A lot of Korean TV shows are shot in some of these studios. Museums. Seoul has plenty of different museums. National War Memorial. This features all sorts of different artifacts from the various wars Korea has been involved in, as well as other wars around the world. Eum Museum. Eum Museum features a collection of items owned by the founders of Samsung. Everything from historic relics to modern art can be found here. National Museum of Korea. Korean History Museum, Natural History Museum, Seoul Museum of History, Bukchon National Science Museum, Seodaemun Prison History Museum, Kimchi Museum Insa-dong, Central Buddhist Museum, Aviation Museum. And that wraps up over 100 different things to do while in Seoul and the surrounding areas. If there's anything you think that I've missed, please do post it in the comment section below. Also note, I've created a Facebook group to help those traveling to Korea that have questions. I will leave the link to the group in the description below. And of course, please take the 2 seconds to like this video, share it with people you know that will find this useful, and subscribe to the channel for more great content on Korea.